Interesting comments too in the press conference from Pochettino about his respect for MLS. I'm going to quote again. We need to give MLS the value because I think competing there, I think the players can show that they can perform in the national team. I think it's not necessary to move from MLS to Europe because sometimes MLS, under my assessment, maybe is more competitive than some leagues in Europe. Well, it's definitely more competitive than some leagues in Europe. It's not just words though. Like sometimes in the past, national team managers would say that to like boost MLS and be a good partner and all that. His decisions are showing that.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about Sawadski over Aiden Morris, guys like Sargent not coming in instead of Brian White's coming in, guys like that. So really interesting.
12 MLS players in this current squad. The argument is dumb and it's old. Like people out there who are like, you shouldn't stay in MLS, you shouldn't come back to MLS, all that, blah, blah. You go where you can perform at your best for the time being, right? So like, I'll give you an example. If you're in and out of a championship squad, right, but you're not the first name on a team sheet, I would suggest for the sake of the national team, you're actually better off having a player that plays in MLS who's banging in 20 goals.
Absolutely.
Who's feeling the rhythm of the game and who's kind of worn, as opposed to someone who's like, oh, he's a really talented kid, but he doesn't always get on the field. So like, it's a silly argument. Obviously, it's good that Pochettino sees how valuable it is. I know the value of both playing in Europe and in MLS. They're both important. It's about rhythm. It's about timing. So I'm okay with it. He clearly is, as you said, putting his money where his mouth is with the 12 MLS players in the squad. Obviously, once we get to the World Cup, we'll see what that final makeup of the roster is, but it's an interesting conversation.
Tim, there was a time in MLS where you could really honestly say, look, the environment, the training facilities, your players you play with, the games you play in on a Wednesday night somewhere where there's 3,000 people. It was clearly much more competitive and better for you to be competing in Europe. I'm using Europe in quotes because who the hell knows what that means.
Yeah.
But like at a real European league or club, that was the case. But now like there's real pressure, right? Like you play LAFC last night and you're San Diego. Like that's a real soccer game. And for LAFC, losing at home, that's a real deal. The inner Seattle game, the Leagues Cup game, that's a real soccer game. This argument now that like being in a European environment, now look, if you're playing at Leeds and you're trying to stay up, is that different than playing for Sporting Kansas City, who, is probably not going to make the playoffs? Yeah, of course. But for the most part, like there's enough good teams in this league and enough real environments where it's plenty fine to be playing in MLS as long as you're playing every week.